Welcome to Synergy, JEE and NEET online classes.
In this question, identify a molecule which does not exist. See, which does not exist. Look here, one thing. In case of molecules, especially diatomic molecules, that means two atoms are involved in the molecules, use the molecular orbital theory, MO theory. MO theory says if bond order is less than 0 or is equal to 0, then such species does not exist. Such species does not exist. What is the bond order? Bond order given by this is bonding molecular orbital electrons minus anti-bonding molecular orbital electrons divided by 2. That is given as the bond order definition. Now, if you look at the lithium, if you write electronic configuration, you will see lithium atom has 3 atomic number. So therefore, actually it has 6 electrons, Li2. So if you fill that electrons, sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, this is the molecular orbital order, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s. So now 6 electrons I am filling, 2, 4 plus 2, 6 electrons are over, 7 and 6 electrons only present. So therefore, sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2. So this is the order of energies. I will remove this one. Sigma 2s2. Now if you look at the carbon, there are 12 electrons total. So let's fill that electrons. Sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2. So up to here 8 electrons are over. Next after that pi will come. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So after that, so that is what carbon twice. And if you calculate the bond order up to here, you will see bond order in the first case will be bonding electrons, which are 4 minus anti-bonding electrons. This is the I am putting in box, anti-bonding divided by 2. So it is positive quantity, it cannot be 0. Now second one, bond order if you calculate, so these are the electrons, circled electrons are the bonding electrons, so which are 8, anti-bonding electrons are boxed 1, 4 divided by 2, so 2. Here also it exists bond order. Now O2 if I write, if you take O2 and write the electronic configuration, O2 has 16 electrons. So 16 electrons if you fill, sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, and up to here 8 electrons are over. Next sigma 2pz, pi 2px, pi 2py. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is the O2 configuration. Now if you circle those electrons, 1, 2, so these are the electrons which are in the bonding. So 10 electrons are there. So bond order if I calculate, 10 minus boxed one is anti-bonding electrons, 6 electrons are there. So bond order is 2. It also exists. And only one option, fourth option I have not checked. We have not checked, and that may not be existing. So that will be the answer. But let's check that one also. Now helium if you write, helium has 4 electrons are there. So sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2. So if you calculate bond order, bonding electrons are 2, anti-bonding electrons are also 2. So answer is 0. So if it is bond order is less than or equal to 0, then such species does not exist. Therefore, correct answer for this is, they are asking does not exist. Na? So for correct answer is 4. Match the following and identify the correct option. Here, first one is CO and H2. CO and H2 is called, combination of CO and H2 is called water gas. It is also called synthetic gas because it is used in synthesizing many organic compounds. That's why it is called synthetic gas. So synthesis gas. It is given here. Sorry, it is not synthetic, synthesis gas. Because it is used in synthesizing many organic compounds. Next, temporary hardness of water. Temporary hardness of water is due to the bicarbonates. Hardness is divided in two types: temporary hardness, permanent hardness. Permanent hardness of water is due to chlorides and sulfates of calcium, magnesium. So if these salts are present, all of them or some of them, it is called permanent hard water. Temporary hard water is bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. Both calcium and magnesium bicarbonates, or any one of them, if they are present, it is called temporary hard water. So temporary hardness of water, so it will be matching with the option 1. And whereas CO2H2 is matching with water gas or synthesis gas. B2H6. B2H6 is a electron deficient molecule. B2H6 structure is like this. And there is one bond will be there, which is called banana bond with the hydrogen and the hydrogen. Now here 2 electrons will be present. Here 2 electrons, and here 2 electrons, here 2 electrons. So if you count number of electrons around both boron, since there are 2 borons are there, we expect 2 borons require in total 2 into 4, 2 into 8, 16 electrons, because each boron, each element should require 8 electrons, octet, in order to become stable. Since 2 borons are there, it requires 16 electrons. Here 2 electrons and 2 electrons, and another boron 2 electrons. So total 4, 3, 6, 12 electrons are there. Required is 16 electrons, but available is only 12 electrons. Therefore, it is electron deficient. B2H6 is electron deficient molecule. So for B2H6, this is the right one. H2O2. H2O2 structure is non-planar structure. Its structure is like this, H2O2. It is an open book structure. Suppose if you put a book open in this manner, so if you take oxygens here, one OH bond in this page, other OH bond is in the different page. So if you put some angle here while opening a book, how the structure will be? The same manner. This OH will be in the one plane, this other OH will be in the other plane. So this one is a non-planar structure. Therefore H2O2, this is matching. So that means for first one 3, then 1, 2, 4. So 1, 2, 4. So second one is the correct option. Which of the following set has zero dipole moment? So zero dipole moment means the net dipole moment of the molecule is 0. For example, here there are certain compounds are given, that is BF3 and HF, carbon dioxide, and 1,3 dichlorobenzene, and nitrogen fluoride, trifluoride, and beryllium difluoride, water. So these are the compounds given, and ammonia. Now as we see here, BF3 structure is like this: boron, fluorine, fluorine, and fluorine. It's a symmetrical molecule. No matter what which fluorine occupies the top position, it does not matter. If you rotate 120 degrees and makes this fluorine occupy the top position also, same it is looking exactly. Whenever a molecule is symmetrical, then its dipole moment, net dipole moment will be 0. That means the dipole moment here and here and here, these three vectors if you take, and in physics also you must have learned, if three vectors are there and with the angle 120 degrees and all are same in magnitude, then net dipole moment will be 0. So therefore BF3 is a non-polar molecule. In other words, net dipole moment is 0 for this one. And HF molecule has clearly dipole moment existing towards the fluorine. So mu is here not equal to 0. Fluorine is more electronegative than hydrogen. So polarities will be there and therefore dipole moment exists clearly. Now carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide has structure like this and it has two bonds and two bonds have dipole moments. But the thing is both vectors are equal in magnitude. So therefore they cancel out each other. Net dipole moment comes out to be 0. Now look at the 1,3 dichlorobenzene. If you take 1,3 dichlorobenzene, chlorine and chlorine. One vector is in this direction, other vector is in this direction. They both are not opposite to cancel. Therefore, mu net is not equal to 0. Next, look at the NF3. NF3 has nitrogen and fluorine, fluorine, fluorine. So here, these three vectors are definitely not cancelling out each other. So net dipole moment will not be 0. And BeF2, beryllium fluoride, has structure like this. One dipole moment is cancelled by the other bond's dipole moment. Therefore, mu will be 0 for this one. And H2O has structure like this. So here also dipole moment is not cancelling out. Here also not equal to 0. And ammonia, just like NF3, this also has dipole moments towards the direction of nitrogen because nitrogen is more alternative atom. And here also there is no cancellation. Here also not 0. So among all, if you ask me which are 0, I am circling them out. BF3 is 0. HF is non-zero. CO2 is also cancellation is taking place. So 0. And dichlorobenzene, this is not 0. NF3 non-zero. BeF2, because of its linear shape, left and right cancel out with each other. Therefore 0. And H2O is also non-zero because angular shape is there, dipole moment will not cancel out, and NH3 is also pyramidal shape, it will not cancel out. So so H2O and NH3 not cancelling out, that's why I am not circling them. So if you see BF3, CO2 and BeF2, only these things are having 0 dipole moment. And also 1,4 dichlorobenzene. That means when chlorine and chlorine are in opposite position, upside and downside, they also cancel out with each other. So that is also 0. So in this third option, all compounds have 0 dipole moment. So this is the right one. In this question, the calculated spin only magnetic moment Cr plus 2 is. See, spin only magnetic moment is calculated by square root of n into n plus 2, where n is the number of unpaired electrons. Now Cr plus 2, chromium, if you write normal electronic configuration, argon and 3d 3d5 and 4s1, that is the neutral chromium or chromium atom configuration. Now they are taking Cr plus 2, that means you have to remove 2 electrons. And remember, whenever you are removing electrons, first priority is first you have to take the last shell you have to take and you have to remove the electrons. Now here third shell and fourth shell, among them this is the last shell or valence shell. When you are removing electrons from an element, you have to begin with the last one. So in this case, fourth one is the last one, so remove this electron. So Cr plus 2 configuration will be 3d5. See, if you remove first if you remove from electron from 4s becomes 0, there is no electron here, and next electron you have to remove from the 3d, because after removing fourth shell electron, there is no electron is present in the fourth shell, then you will come to the third, then you start remove electrons from the 3D. So first you have to remove from electron from this, and second from here. Here it does not matter from where you remove, because all are same energy electrons. So it does not matter which electron you remove. Therefore, ultimately how many electrons are present, unpaired electrons are present, that will be 4 in the given question. So therefore mu is equal to root of 4 into 4 plus 2 root of 24. We know that square root of 25 is 5. So square root of 24 must be very little less than 5 value. So what is wherever little less than 5 is there, you select that one. See here it is just less than 5. So this should be the right answer. In this question, it is given that urea reacts with water. Urea reacts with water to form compound A, which decomposes to form B. And B is giving a deep blue color solution when passed through copper plus 2. So let's see which of the following gives these reactions. Now let's take urea first. Urea is this compound, NH2CO NH2. This is urea. Now urea reacts with water. So remember one thing, if any amide is there, we know that amide on reaction with water gives what? When you have to break this bond, and water has H and OH groups, na, add OH one side, H one other side. So it becomes into OH, carboxylic acid, and nitrogen part becomes into, already 2 hydrogens are there. If you attach 1 hydrogen, it becomes ammonia. So that is the rule. So therefore here you break these two sides, because two sides carbon nitrogen bond is there. So both sides you break and see what happens here. So here I am adding H, left side OH. Similarly I am adding H and right side OH. So carbon, double bond O, and OH and OH, and the other part becomes into 2 molecules of ammonia. Now ammonia actually, when present in water, it exists in the form of NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide. Now they are saying the compound A is formed. So this A compound will be ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH. Now this NH4OH decomposes to form B. Now NH4OH, if you slightly warm this solution, then it will break down into NH3 and gas will escape, leaving behind the water in the beaker if you slightly warm this solution. Now this NH3, even if you don't warm the solution, NH3 gas slowly comes out anyway, but if you warm it, it quickly comes out. Now this ammonia is the B compound. So this is A actually, now this is B. Now ammonia on reaction with Cu plus 2. When ammonia reacts with Cu plus 2, it forms a complex of this form. Tetraammonia complex will form, and the color of this one is deep blue in color. So that's everything is matching here. So and the solution C is formed. So this is the solution C of deep blue color. So what is the formula of C from the following? So what is the right option? Therefore CuNH3 taken 4. This is the right option. Identify the incorrect statements. The oxidation states of chromium in CrO4 and Cr2O7. See CrO4 minus 2 and Cr2O7 if you take. Here let's take X here and Y here, and let's calculate the X. In oxides, oxygen will have a oxidation state minus 2. And overall oxidation state of all the species should be equal to its charge. And charge is minus 2. So charge is equal total, so sum of all oxidation states of all the atoms. So using this rule, charge is here minus 2. It must be equal to X plus, there are 4 oxygens, each oxygens will have minus 2 in the oxides. So if you take this one, X will be having 6 oxidation state. Whereas Cr2O7 also, if you apply in the same manner, charge is minus 2, it should be equal to 2 into Y, because there are 2 chromiums are there, plus 7 into oxygen state of each oxygen is -2. So if we calculate here, so 14 minus 2, 12, 12 by 2, again 6. That means in both compounds, the oxygen state of chromium is only 6 only. Therefore here, the first one which is given, oxygen states of chromium are not same, they are saying. And so this is a wrong statement, and they are asking that only, incorrect is what. So this should be our answer for this question. And if you look at the other options, T4 is a stronger reducing the Fe plus 2 is the factual statement which is given in the NCERT textbook, the D block chapter. And the transition metals and their compounds, they show catalytic activity due to their ability to adapt multiple oxidation states. This is also there in the NCERT textbook, D block elements. Interstitial compounds. Interstitial compounds means if small elements like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, when they occupy gaps, suppose if you take these are the metal atoms, now there are some gaps in between the metal atoms. So in these gaps, if small elements like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, they go and sit there, then such compounds are called interstitial compounds. Interstitial means in between spaces. Something occupies in between space of the lattice created by the other element, then they are called interstitial compounds. So this statement is also right statement. Only first one is wrong statement, and that is what they want us to select. Which of the following is the correct order increasing field strength of the ligand? Actually, there is a spectrochemical series is there which is given in the D block elements, coordination compounds of NCERT. There it is clearly mentioned that SCN minus is a weak field ligand and F minus is also weak field ligand. So these two ligands, and after that oxalate ion will come. It's just better, little better than the fluorine, and CN minus, carbon monoxide, all these are strong field ligands. So if you see these 4 ligands in the list of spectrochemical series, CN minus towards the end of the series and C2O4 somewhere in the middle, and SCN minus and F minus towards the left side of the series. So order strength wise is, this is the series. This is the strong ligand. This is very weak ligand. So as you see, SCN minus and CN minus, they are the terminals only in the option 4. So this is the right option. Identify the correct statements in the following. Now CO2 gas is used as refrigerant for ice creams and frozen food. Yes, CO2 actually it exists in the CO2 actually in gaseous state, it is not used as a refrigerant, but CO2 as a solid state, the compound is used as a refrigerant, because CO2 in a gaseous in a solid state, it is at very low temperatures, around -70. I don't exactly remember the temperature, but it is very low temperature at -60, 65, 72 degrees centigrade. It will be there in the solid state. So therefore, very low temperatures are there. Therefore, the CO2 can be used as a refrigerant for the cold items. Next, the structure of CO2. So therefore here gas is given, that's why it is wrong statement. If CO2 solid is given, it is right only. The structure of C60, which is Buckminster fullerene. C60 is, the name is Buckminster fullerene. Now Buckminster fullerene, it has 12 pentagonal rings will be there. That means 5-membered rings are 12 exist, and 20 hexagonal ring will be there. Just like football, if you notice football, there are pentagonal rings will be there, hexagonal rings will be there. Just like that, same C60 also exist. And in football also, if you count pentagonal, there are 12 existing, and in Buckminster fullerene also 12 exist. And 6-membered ring, hexanes, there are 20 existing in football. In the same manner, surprisingly, Buckminster fullerene also have similar. So therefore, here they have given that C60 contains 12 6-membered rings and 20 5-membered rings. Opposite they have given. That's why this is also wrong. ZSM5, a type of zeolite, is used to convert alcohols into gasoline. Yes, ZSM is a aluminosilicate. Aluminosilicates, and this is a factual point. It is a type of zeolite, this one, and it is used to convert the alcohols and the alcohols into the gasoline. It is there in group 14 chapter also in the NCERT textbook. Also it is mentioned in the surface chemistry chapter also in your 12th class textbook. So this is right statement. And CO is colorless, odorless gas. Yes, carbon monoxide is a colorless gas as well as odorless gas. It does not have any smell also. Therefore, C and D options are correct statements. See, this is only the correct. In this question, we have to match left column with the right column. As you see here, CO is a neutral oxide. Among carbon oxides, there are two oxides of carbon. One is carbon monoxide, other one is carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide is neither acidic nor basic. It is called neutral oxide. Whereas carbon dioxide is a acidic oxide because it reacts with bases. Therefore, it is called acidic oxide. Carbon monoxide neither reacts with a base nor reacts with a acid. Therefore, it is neutral oxide. So for A, 2 is matching. Where is neutral? Barium oxide. Barium oxides are, all S block oxides are basic in nature because all S block elements are highly metallic. So metallic oxides are mainly basic in nature. That's why for B, 1 is matching, 1 is basic. Al2O3. There are certain oxides of certain metals like Al2O3, zinc oxide, tin oxide. So these kind of oxide, lead oxide. So these are amphoteric in nature. Amphoteric means they react with both acid as well as base. React with acid as well as base. Such compounds are called amphoteric. Since it has dual nature, so this is amphoteric C. So C must be matching with fourth one. Cl2O7. Cl2O7, chlorine is a non-metal and non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature and therefore the one it is matching is 3, which is acidic. So 2, 1, 4, 3, which is matching with 2, 1, 4, 3. So 1 is the right option. Here, which of the following is not correct? This is very important while solving the problems, whether they are asking correct statements or not correct statements. Many times actually we fall here only. They may be asking not correct, but we may select the correct options and come out of the exam. So there actually, even though we know everything, we are losing marks there. We have to be very careful here. Now here, not correct, they are asking about the carbon monoxide. Now, carbon monoxide, actually, if you are in a room where some carbon is burning, then it will be very suffocating and sometimes it will be fatal also. The reason is the carbon monoxide is formed when the carbon burns with oxygen and insufficiently. Insufficiently means if oxygen is available sufficiently, this carbon oxide may burn further and convert into carbon dioxide. But if it is not sufficiently burned, then good amount of carbon monoxide will be available in that room. Now, if this is inhaled by human beings, then what happens? This has more capacity or more efficient. This carbon monoxide is more efficient in combining with iron present in the hemoglobin. In hemoglobin, iron atom is present. And this iron is a complex setting. When oxygen is taken, this iron will be forming a complex with the oxygen. But when carbon monoxide is inhaled, it will form a complex with the carbon monoxide. Now, among oxygen and oxygen, among O2 and CO, it is more effective in forming a coordinate covalent bond or complex section with the iron. This is more effective, whereas O2 is less effective. So therefore, when you inhale carbon monoxide and oxygen also, if it is present, but iron will connect more to the carbon monoxide as compared to oxygen. That's why it is more fatal when you are present in a carbon monoxide containing room, closed room. Now look here, in these options, it is given that it reduces oxygen carrying ability of blood. Yes, since it is connecting with the iron, it is reducing the oxygen carrying ability of the blood. So this is right statement only. Sorry, but they are asking wrong statements. We have to select the wrong one. So, but the statement is right here. The carboxyhemoglobin, that means hemoglobin bound to carbon monoxide, is less stable than the oxyhemoglobin. No, carbon monoxide when it is bonded to one, it's more effective means what? After connecting this one is more stable compared to the oxygen connection. Carbon monoxide connects better. That means the complex which is formed after carbon monoxide connected with iron, that is more stable than that of oxygen. So here they are saying less stable. Therefore, this is wrong statement. And this is what they are expecting from us, because they are selecting not correct statement they want us, na? This one. It is produced due to the incomplete combustion. So this statement is right, only incomplete combustion only use carbon monoxide, otherwise it will go to carbon dioxide. It forms carboxyhemoglobin. Yes, when a carbon monoxide linked to the iron, so there is some organic molecules also linked to the iron in other directions, but overall this molecule is called carboxyhemoglobin. So answer for this one, wrong statement is second one. In this question, which of the following oxo acid of sulfur has oxygen-oxygen linkage? Oxygen-oxygen linkage is called peroxy linkage. So which of the following has that peroxy linkage they are saying? This is peroxy link. Now if you look at the first one, sulfuric acid structure is like this, H2SO4. Sulfur to double bond was and OH and OH. So and H2S2O8. In group 16 chapter of NCERT, all these structures are clearly given. Now here, we need not actually know the structure to answer this question, because it is simplified by giving the name of the compound. As the name itself contains peroxo, and since it is a peroxy link, therefore we can directly select option 2 is the right. Okay, but suppose if name is not given, then it will become little difficult. Then you need to know the structure. So if you look at the structure, H2S2O8 structure is like this. Oxygen, and here double bond O, OH and OH. This is H2S2O8. See the peroxy link here. And H2S2O7. Let's write the structure of that also. H2S2O7. Just to remove one oxygen from H2S2O8, it will convert into H2S2O7. You can easily remember. If you remove oxygen, one oxygen, middle oxygen, you will get this. And next H2SO3, sulfurous acid. In sulfurous acid, just remove this oxygen. If you remove this oxygen, you will get H2SO3. So this is called sulfurous acid. So if you remove oxygen from peroxide disulfuric, you will get pyrosulfuric. If you remove oxygen from the H2SO4, you will get H2SO3. As a shortcut, you can remember like this. But anyway, so answer for this one is the only second one. Among these four, only one contains the peroxy link. Identify the correct statement of the following. Now here they are saying pig iron can be molded into variety of shapes. Pig iron can be molded, yes. Pig iron can be molded into variety of shapes. It is given in the metallurgy chapter. So many shapes it can be created. So therefore that one, the first one is the right statement. Wrought iron. Wrought iron is the pure form of iron. Almost pure. Almost 100% pure form of iron. Now pig iron, around it contains around 4 to 5% carbon percentage will be there in the pig iron. Whereas the better one after pig iron is the cast iron. Cast iron contains also around 3 to 4%, around 3% iron will be there. Carbon will be there in the cast iron. And wrought iron, it contains around 0.1 to 0.3% carbon will be there in the wrought iron. So among these three, wrought iron is the pure form which contains very less amount of carbon. Pure form of iron, this one. But they are saying 4% carbon. It is in the pig iron. So wrought iron containing 4% is wrong statement. Blister copper has blistered appearance due to evolution of CO2. See, in the copper metallurgy process, once you get Cu2s, the final step. So this Cu2s is treated with the air. Then what happens? Partially this Cu2s is converted into Cu2O. And this Cu2O This is a partial conversion. So the only part of it will be converted into Cu2O. The remaining part will react with this Cu2O and convert into copper. So in this is the process how copper is extracted from its ore in the metallurgy of copper, which is there in your NCERT textbook. Now, in this, once copper is obtained, since SO2 gas is being liberated from this substance, therefore, the solid mass of copper which you are getting, it contains, once it is solidified, it contains a bubblish kind of appearance will be there on the solid. So, bubblish appearance will be there on the solid, which is called blisters. Why these bubbles are coming? Bubble kind of appearance is there because SO2 gas escaped from it. So while it is escaping, the copper got solidified. That's why that bubble kind of appearance is coming to the solidified copper. This is blistered appearance. So blister copper has blistered appearance due to evolution of SO2, not CO2. That's why this is wrong statement. Vapor phase refining is carried out for nickel by Van Arkel method. In case of nickel, Mond's process is used to purify the nickel. Mond's process means they will take carbon monoxide and they will heat to get nickel carbonyl compounds. These vapors are collected and again they will heat at higher temperature to get nickel solid and carbon monoxide. See here, this is impure nickel. Some impurities are there with the nickel element. When you heat with carbon monoxide, only nickel will join with the carbon monoxide and convert into gaseous state, leaving behind the impurities. Now, impurities are left over below only and gas is collected from the top. And this gas is again heated at higher temperature value than the previous value. Then, since nickel carbonyl only contains the nickel, not impurities, that's why ultimately when it breaks down, you are getting a pure form of nickel. So this is vapor phase refining process of the nickel, and this process is called Mond's process, not Van Arkel process. So therefore this is also wrong. So in the given statements, only one is right and others are wrong here. Find out the incorrect match. See, un, nil, unium. Un means 1. Un means 1. Nil means 0. And hex means 6. So, tri means 3. We already know these things. Now, here, un, nil, unium. Un means 1. Nil means 0. Again, un is there, 1. And last, this common thing, the word IUM is added anyway. So this is 101 atomic number. Next one, if you see, 1, nil is there, so 0. Tri is there, so 3. This is the atomic number. And third one, see if you see, nil, hex. That means 106. Again 3 times is there. That means 1, 1, 1. This is the atomic number of this element. Now here, 401 is Mendelevium. It is there in the NCERT textbook that 101 is Mendelevium. And 103 is also Lawrencium. These are the correct atomic numbers of these elements. Now, Darmstadt Stadium, for this, atomic number is 110, not 111. 111 is Rontgenium. So therefore, this D option is mismatch. So therefore, answer for correct option for this one is 1D4 because they are asking incorrect match. This is the incorrect match. In this question, it is given that the following metal ion activates many enzymes and participates in the oxidation of the glucose to produce ATP along with the Na+. What is responsible for that and also responsible for the transmission of nerve signals? Actually, if you take a cell, outside cell there is so much Na plus ions will be dominant outside cell, whereas inside K plus ions are dominant. I am saying it is not that only Na plus are present. Here Na plus is also present, K plus also present, outside the cell, and similarly inside the cell also both Na plus and K plus is present, but inside cell K plus is dominant. And K plus, it is given clearly in NCERT textbook in the S block elements discussion, biological importance of S block elements. If you refer to that paragraph in NCERT S block chapter, you will see that inside cell potassium ions not only it activates many enzymes activation, it also convert glucose to ATP, and it also involved in the nerve signal transmission. And in the nerve signal transmission, sodium is also involved, and potassium is also involved in this process. That's why they have given with Na plus, along with Na plus, they are involved in the transmission of nerve signals. So, and K plus is the dominant inside the cell, and Na plus is the dominant outside the cell, but both will be present and contributes to many activation process related to the cells. So, if you see here, in the given options, copper is not the option, calcium also not, potassium is there, yes, this is correct, and iron is not.
Dear students, if you really understood the concept and if you think you really benefited from this video, then please subscribe, like and share this video. Dear students, if you want to take full benefit of these classes, join our interactive live online classes by calling the phone number displayed on the screen. Thank you.